Bitcoin is right now down over $40,000 from its high. And most of the people are asking me, when is this bounce on Bitcoin going to be happening? Well, on today's update video, I am going to discuss the big liquidity crunch that is most certainly about to be happening. I am also going to talk about the big Bitcoin CME gap we're currently creating still below us, where everyone should be clearly pay attention towards right now. I'm going to talk about, of course, are we right now in a bull market? Are we right now in a bear market? What are the best things to do regarding trading Bitcoin as of this moment of time right now? I'm going to be going over the most important levels, the most important charts, the most important data points. So make sure to watch this video till the end, because also I will be going obviously over on Ethereum, which is now retesting this weekly level of major resistance that got us rejected for about 7 to 8 weeks in a row here. So there's a lot to discuss. So don't forget to once again stomp that like button back above 1,000 likes. Will be highly appreciated. And let me jump straight away in today's update video. So first of all, over the course of this weekend, we're yet again creating another CME gap, this time around 85 to about $86,000. And yes, over the course of many previous weekends, we created many CME gaps. And usually what we can see over the last few weekends we got here, we create the CME gap over here, we fill it up within a matter of time. So we create the CME gap over here, we fill it up within a matter of times. Here also we create the CME gap. It took about a week before we got filled up here, but you can see we've created many CME gaps on Bitcoin, but most of them just ultimately get filled up quite quickly. Because especially also since we know that on the last 8 weekends, we have seen a pump over the course of the weekend. We also have got a lot of data, what happens afterwards. And for example, in this week, we had a big rally towards the upside, but of course that was towards new all-time highs. But ever since the downtrend, we've basically seen a pump on Sunday and then a dump on the Tuesday and Wednesday. So let's see how it's going to be continuing this time around here. But I do just want to make you aware that we are creating such a CME gap yet again here. Then, of course, if I'm looking at Bitcoin, I'm going to talk about if we are going to be bouncing from one level, it is most likely going to be the level where we're currently trading on. And I have stated in many previous videos as well here that yes, I want to be opening up a new trade here, but my next trade is going to be a short position. And I'm going to be looking to do so to open up that short position on the invalidation of a lower high for Bitcoin. And that is, of course, currently exactly what I'm waiting for. And if I'm analyzing all the previous Bitcoin bear markets, Bitcoin tends to retest the 200-day moving average. And after doing so, it tends to confirm the beginning and the lower high on the Bitcoin bear market. Now it is trading around $110,000. But for me, I am planning to scale in towards my short positions from off this previous range high right here, whenever we do grab that liquidity on this top side right here. So this is going to be a level where I personally would be interested in accumulating somewhat of a short position on Bitcoin. So in case we are going to be seeing this big rally, this relief from off this big zone of support, that is going to be a level where I will be interesting. So I would highly recommend to first of all subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on this exact trade there. But also make sure to join the VIP Telegram group here, because in the VIP Telegram group, it's not only me who's sharing trading setups over there, but also 5 other professional traders that are sharing in real time their setups on how they're trading the market right now here. So that is, of course, very interesting. And I mean, one of the reasons why most likely we could be getting a relief anytime soon here is that we are creating a lot of liquidity on the top side. And yes, usually the Bitcoin price attracts liquidity, especially since there's almost no short side liquidity, especially since there's not a lot of long liquidity and only short liquidity laying above us right now here. There's just a big chance we're going to be squeezing out here. But don't get me wrong, I do think the CME gap ultimately is going to get filled up here. And don't get me wrong here, I do believe a big bounce is going to happen for Bitcoin soon here. Is it going to be from off this zone right here? I am not certain. Or is it going to be from the next box of support? On the next box of support, if we are going to be breaking towards $72,000, I will be longing the market, because then I think the risk to reward is definitely going to be worth it to open up a long position on Bitcoin. As of for now, I don't think it's worth the risk to go long right here. But in case we are going to see a bounce, I want to be opening up a short position on the lower high on the market. So that is going to be the strategy I will be looking for. And of course, I'm going to just tell you exactly along the way how I'm going to be playing, how I'm going to be trading. And that is, of course, going to be very, very interesting. Then, of course, it is right now a new week here. And in the last about 4 to 5 weeks, we've just seen very aggressive US selling. So we are expecting whenever the US stock market is opening up again here, we're expecting some more volatility is going to be hitting the market again. And ultimately, I've been making this heat map for the next Bitcoin bear market. If Bitcoin is going to be entering this likely bottom zone, which I've drawn out over here, I think it's going to be a great time to be accumulating Bitcoin, of course. So yes, this is exactly the chart I will be continue to look at this bear market. And this is going to give me a very good indication about where I think I should be starting to get buying. And of course, as we're going to be entering the unlikely stage, as that potentially is going to be happening, the risk to reward of accumulating Bitcoin is most certainly going to be extremely, extremely big here. And for example, also the average entry price of Michael Saylor is around $72,000. So all the Bitcoin you're buying below there, you're buying below Michael Saylor. So that is, of course, an extremely good entry if you would ask me here. So that is going to be just one of the tools that is going to be helping me to predict where Bitcoin is going to be, a good buy here. Also, we've got the 200 weekly moving average, which historically, if you buy below it, is one of the best opportunities. And of course, in previous bear markets, this has always marked the bottom of the market. So that is going to be also one very, very interesting level to be looking out for. And if we can accumulate it right at that level, it is going to be most certainly, of course, very great there. Then, of course, looking at Bitcoin, we have been creating the bearish divergence. And one of the signals that confirmed most of the Bitcoin bear markets, or at least all the Bitcoin bear markets so far, is a bullish divergence on the weekly time frame on the bear market low here. So if we're going to be seeing such kind of signal, I am most certainly going to be very interesting. I mean, not like this, because here we're creating a hidden bullish divergence, which is over here. Then we had a slight little bounce higher, but ultimately another drop lower. Now we're creating a similar thing here. We're creating a higher low, lower low on the RSI. So we're creating indeed a hidden bullish divergence. So if we're going to be repeating somewhat of the 2022 or 2021 Bitcoin bear market start here, we could be getting at least like for a bounce for the following weeks here, maybe up towards $100,000, maybe even up towards $107,000. But ultimately, that is going to be a lower high, which is going to be leading towards the bear market. And then we're going to be going in towards that reaccumulation. But then we're going to go in towards that reaccumulation, just like we're seeing over here, which I draw out. And that is, of course, once again, a very similar scenario like we saw in 2022 here. So make sure to be prepared for such kind of a scenario. And ultimately, I want to be waiting for that perfect bullish divergence on the bear market low with perfect conditions. And as that is going to be happening, that is, of course, going to be a very great opportunity. Also, if I'm looking at the 4-year cycle timings, we should be over with the Bitcoin bull market, which is, of course, a very sad statistic. But of course, we do know that also in bear markets, there can be a lot of money be made because you're just trading with the trend here. So this is, of course, something I will be showing in the coming weeks, in the coming months here. Obviously, I made some losses on my trades I took most recently. But of course, I've also made a lot of profit this bull market. But clearly, there's a big invalidation right now here in the Bitcoin bull market case there. So I am going to give you guys updates. I'm going to show you exactly how I'm going to be trading. So make sure to continue watching. It's going to be a very interesting journey. It's going to be, I've already exactly mapped out my strategy, what I will be doing. And in terms of Ethereum, I mean, if I'm looking at Bitcoin, we're seeing that we're coming back towards a very important and interesting zone where we could be bouncing from. But also regarding Ethereum, we are right now seeing that we're retesting the golden pocket on this retest from of this range right here, right? So a bounce could be very much likely for ETH as well here. I mean, if it's going to be happening for Bitcoin, Ethereum is exactly aligning. But what are the levels I want to be opening up shorts on ETH and basically exit my positions? It is around 3,600 to about 3,400. So this box right here is where I want to be personally exiting my positions. So I'm definitely going to be looking out for that here. So as we're going to be getting a bounce higher, this is going to be a good zone where we could be looking out for a lower high for ETH here, which is going to be continuing the trend we've been already trading in. So that is, of course, going to be a very interesting range here. Also, the heat map for ETH. I mean, honestly, everything below $2,000 is going to be a great buy here, in my opinion. But as of for now, we're still in the expensive range here. So for my long-term accumulation, I am not accumulating, even though here, I've said it multiple times before, I think we could be getting a bounce from off this range here, because this is clearly the most important level of resistance for ETH, and it is corresponding with, of course, this level on the Fibonacci, right? So this is, of course, the level where ETH is most likely going to be seeing a bounce from. Don't get me wrong, just like I think this is the level where Bitcoin is most likely going to see a bounce from, but I'm not opening up a long position since it's, in my opinion, too risky, and I only want to open up a short position on the next lower high in the market. So also for ETH, I only want to be opening up a trade on the next lower high in the market, and that is exactly going to be the strategy to also hedge my positions, etc. So more on that on the channel. So make sure to subscribe right now, because some people don't get it, but I'm still predicting there is going to be a bounce anytime soon here. And on that next bounce, I want to be opening up these trades here. So that was it for me on today's update video. This is exactly what I'm going to be doing with my trades. If you did enjoy it, learn something from this video, subscribe to the channel, slap that like button, and see you guys on the next one. Peace out. Goodbye.